So solving rational inequalities, let's say we want to solve negative 3 over x plus 7 is less than or equal to negative 4 over x plus 8. So the first thing we want to identify is our restrictions. So from my first fraction, I see that it's already factored, it's linear, so I know that x cannot be negative 7. And on the second fraction, I have x plus 8. It's linear, so it's already factored. And I see just by setting it equal to 0, x plus 8 equals 0, so x equals negative 8. So x cannot be equal to negative 8. Once I find my restrictions, I want to go ahead and just solve the equation. So I'm going to solve negative 3 over x plus 7 equals negative 4 over x plus 8. Remember, to solve a rational inequality, you want to multiply by the common denominator. In this case, the common denominator is x plus 7 times x plus 8. On the left-hand side, the x plus 7 cancels out, and so I'm left with negative 3 times x plus 8 equals. On the right-hand side, my x plus 8 would cancel out, leaving me with negative 4 times x plus 7. And now I'll solve the linear equation. So I have negative 3x minus 24 equals negative 4x minus 28. I'll add 4x to both sides, add 24 to both sides, and I end up with positive x equals negative 4. So now I'm going to take my values from my restriction and my zeros of the inequality and use a number line to see which ones actually fulfill my inequality. So what my inequality actually says, it's easier to read if I have 0 on one side. So this is a negative 4, so I'm going to add 4 over x plus 8 to both sides, and I'm going to end up with negative 3 over x plus 7 plus 4 over x plus 8 is less than or equal to 0. Since I have it less than or equal to 0, or at least with 0 on one side, it's easy to know what my inequality means. Think about what numbers are less than 0. So this tells us we're looking for negative numbers and equal to 0. What we get from solving the equation is where my function is equal to 0. So anytime I have the equality, what I get from solving the equation will be part of my solution. My restrictions will never be part of my solution. So I know now I'm looking for what values are negative. So we're going to use our restrictions and our 0 to make a number line. So I'll have negative 8, negative 7, and negative 4. And kind of like we check on the either side of a vertical asymptote, I want to check on the either side of every number and see, do I get something positive or something negative? In this problem, I'm looking for things that are negative. So if it's negative, I know that interval will be in my solution. So I'm going to pick something less than negative 8, something in between negative 8 and negative 7, something in between negative 7 and negative 4, and something to the right of negative 4. So in this problem, I have 4 test points. So let's say negative 9, negative 7.5, negative 5, and how about 0? And so I'm just going to take each point and plug it back in and see which kind of number I get. So I'll plug it into this inequality here. So I have negative 3 over negative 9 plus 7 plus 4 over negative 9 plus 8. And again, I just want to know, would this give me something negative or positive? Negative 9 plus 7 gives me negative 2. Negative 3 over negative 2 is positive 1.5. Negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. 4 over negative 1 is negative 4. And 1.5 minus 4 is definitely something negative. So I know that everything less than negative 8 should be in my solution. Now, negative 7.5. And negative 7.5 plus 7 is negative 0.5. Negative 3 divided by negative 1/2 gives me negative, and negative is a positive, so I have positive 6. Negative 7.5 plus 8 is positive 1/2 divided by 4 divided by positive 1/2 is a positive number. I think it's positive 8. And a positive plus a positive is a positive. Our problem, we're looking for negative values, so I know that this would not be in my solution. And now, negative 5. So negative 3 over negative 5 plus 7 plus 4 over 5 plus 8. Negative 5. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Negative 3 over 2 is negative 1.5. Negative 5 plus 8 is positive 3. 4 over 3. So plus 4 over 3 is 1 1/3, so this would be 1.33 repeated. But negative 1.5 plus 1.3, this would still give me a negative value. You can't see that, but there you go. Still give me a negative value, which is what I'm looking for, so I know that interval would be in my solution. And now the last one to check, my test value is 0. So negative 3 over 0 plus 7 plus 4 over 0 plus 8. Negative 3 over 7 is negative 3/7 plus 4 over 8 is a half. And negative 3/7 plus 4 over 8 plus a half gives me what? Negative 6, positive 1/14. But again, it doesn't matter. It's positive. That's all I needed to know. I'm looking for negative numbers, so I know that part is not in my solution. Do you remember anytime you have the equality, the equal to, then the value you got from solving the equation will be part of your solution. So I know I want everything less than negative 8, but negative 8 is my restriction, so it won't be included. So I'll have negative infinity up to negative 8 with a parenthesis. Negative 8 to negative 7, no good. Negative 7 to negative 4. Negative 7's from my restriction, so not included, so it gets a parenthesis. But negative 4 is part of what I got from solving the equation. So this is my 0. This is what actually makes the equation equal to 0. So it will be included since I have the equality, so I'll use a bracket. And everything greater than negative 4 was not in my solution, so there we go. There's my final answer, solving rational inequalities.